start. Okay. So, good day everyone. So, for today, I will be your reporter. Sa wala pa kaila, ako dahil si Ringo Kimbo from Miss Bay A first year evening. So, today, my topic is all about understanding sexual harassment. So, class, what are the things that will be come up in your mind if you hear sexual harassment? Okay, okay, kan. So, guys, this is kan. Ano yung sexual harassment? Definition of term. So, sexual harassment, it is an act or a series of acts involving any unwelcome sexual advance, request, or demand for a sexual favor, or other verbal or physical behavior of a sexual nature committed by a government employee of official in a work-related, training, or education-related environment. So, class ang koan. So, ang sexual harassment is morning dili jud bitaw ka kanang mo di ka nais bitaw siya na request or ga demand para sa mga sexual favor. So, let's move to other next slide. So, introduction. So, sexual harassment. Harassment and sexual harassment are recognized as a form of discrimination of the ground of sex and thus are contrary to the principle of equal treatment between men and women. So, okay, so wait. So, harassment and sexual harassment is kuan siya guys. Isang uri na kuan. Kuan siya isang uri ng discrimination based on their gender or sex. So, sa makatuwid, kuan ang prinsipyo sa babae ug sa lalaki is kabaliktaran. So, by Namuser, Hining, and Lalong 2012. So, like many others crime, sexual harassment is all about power, control, and domination. International Labor Organization, or ILO, in 2001, defined sexual harassment as a sex-based behavior that is unwelcome and offensive to the recipient. Thus, sexual harassment is not merely a problem of a safety and health and unacceptable working conditions, but is also a form of a violence primarily against women by ILO 1992. So, sexual harassment is crime ni siya na naigitawag na International Labor Organization, which is ilang gikuanan ilang buragi to the point bitaw na ilang gitukoy bitaw na ang sexual is panligalig or harassment na nakabase ni sila sa gender or sex nga dili gusto makapasakit sa nakadawat or kuan. Ang sexual harassment is dili lamang usa ka problem sa safety and health, but is also og sa mga unacceptable working condition, but also isang uri ni sa mga violence primarily against sa mga babae, sa mga kababayan sa tuwa bitaw. So, in the Philippines Republic Act number 7877 or the Anti-Sexual Harassment of Act 1995 defines work, education, or training-related sexual harassment is committed by an employer, employee, manager, supervisor, agent of the employer, teacher, instructor, professor, coach, trainer, or any other person who having authority, influence, or moral ascendancy or over another in a work, training, or education environment. Demand, request, or otherwise requires any sexual favor from the other, regardless or whether the demand, request, or a requirement for submission is accepted by the object of said act. So, okay, so guys, in the Philippines, nagaharas dari bitaw, labi na gyud sa kuan, sa trabaho, sa eskwelahan, o sa mga training or related. Mo na sila ang nasa mga nagatek og advantage kay na sila authority. Sama na for example, teachers o estudyante. Kaning estudyante nabagsak. So ang maestro gibagsak niya ang estudyante. So ang estudyante ni dool sa maestro. Tapos nihangyo siya na, "Sir, buhaton ako ang tanan or request nimo, ipasar lang ko." So ang maestro, sir, ay ma'am, mag-request na sila or mag-demand na sila, "O sige, papasaron ta ka, pero nay kapalit." Nay morning nay request 6 fever magkuan siya, ma'am. So guys, nay kapalit kabalo naman sa musang pasabot no. May anak kang murag kapit sa patalim kay syempre grado na gyud na. Isa may di mo kan. No, nay nga na gyud mga estudyante. Kanang musugot na lang sa naharason makapasar lang. Kanay pang uban lagi na pay lagi mga manyakis, mo take advantage gyud. Or ganin. Another example sa work related na po. Sama nang kuan ma'am sa boss. Ang kaning boss na moingon ang boss na dili taga i-promote kung dili nimo buhaton akong gi-request. So, unsa man tong request niya? So ang request ang boss niya nag-request og about sa kuan 6 favor na pod ma'am. So, guys, ang uban mo grab man ang opportunity kay promotion gyud nilang apas bitaw. Nag-apas gyud uban sa promotion. So i-grab nila. So kana pod part na siya sa kuan sa kaning request bitaw. Morning nag-take advantage silang authority. Take advantage sila. Gikuan nila ilang kuan kay porket boss nila nga na unahon na laat tumanong kuan ni kay para ma-promote ni siya. Manang luoy po ning uban ma'am. Luoy po ni sila. So guys, let's move sa kuan na. So wait lang kung naka-record ba. Okay. So, theoretical perspective of sexual harassment. So, sexual harassment cannot be understood from the perspective of a single theory. Di lang daw kuan ma'am. Dili lang isa ka theory masabtan na nato ang kuan tungod sa masabtan na nato ang sexual harassment. Daghan ni klase-klase na theory. But is always a combination or a different predictors. Previous researchers have looked at the sexual harassment using a number of frameworks, including organizational approach, feminist theory, role theory, and attributional models of sexual harassment. However, all the models share common basic assumptions and can be labeled as socio-cultural models of sexual harassment by Shades and Braver, 1999. However, there have been 5 widely accepted and there have been 5 widely accepted theories of sexual harassment. So, that attempt to explain the phenomenon from different angles of perspective. So, guys, nay 5 ka different different nay 5 ka theories about sexual harassment. So, let's start with number 1 is natural or biological theory. So, this. According to this model, men have a stronger sex drives and therefore biologically motivate to engage in sexual pursuit of women. Thus, the harassing behavior is not meant to be offensive or discriminatory, but is merely the result of biological urges. Its assumptions include a natural or mutual attraction between men and women, a stronger male sex drive, and men in the role of sex initiators. A key of strength of natural or biological perspective is acknowledged that innate human instinct potentially driving sexual aggressive behavior by Changri 8 AI 1982. So, guys, from this word, natural. So, natural gid ni sa lalaki na mo attempt og harassment. Di man pero that is kuan agad kay lalaki medyo taas ni sila kuan mga uwag siguro tayo. So lalaki jud ang taas og uwag kay ang mga lalaki bayo gyud uwagon. So dili man siguro sa tanan pero magay kasagaran. So it comes up to biological, it's come up to motivate mas mutaas ang iyang determination, iyang kagustuhan to engage sexual activity to the woman. But you guys always remember, the harassing behavior is not meant to be offensive or discriminatory, but tugon ni sa ginatawag nga biological urge. With biological urge, it includes na dire ang natural. So, guys, from the word of mutual, so same og attraction sa araw. Mutual attraction, so parehas lang kay mutual between men and women. A stronger mix derives on men in the role of sexual initiator. So, for example, mao dili matawag nga offensive or to be discriminatory kay ang mga ang mga time og mga sexual activities comes up from both side. A stronger mix derive on men in the role of sex initiators. Isa na sa mga naghahatag og mutual or biological perspective that it acknowledge the initiate human instinct potentially driving sexual aggressive behavior. So, best example is wala pa ko ka-experience ha, but but based lang sa akong makita sa mga bobe nga nag-sex activity. It start from kissing, jud ang lalaki jud maguna-una. So until it make the nerves kaan, bro sila manginit like joke. So hangtod manginit na sila dito na nadayon alam nyo na. Ha? So next is number 2 is 6 rule spillover theory. So record naman gud ba dapat magpabasa ko na sa mga classmates. So okay, ako ray basa gyapon. This theory is based on the proposition or irrelevant gender-based role expectation that individuals bring to the workplace in guiding their interaction with women. So, men hold role perceptions of women based on their traditional role in our culture. When women take jobs outside of these traditional areas to work in the male-dominated workplace, men rely on this gender based on expectation when interacting with women. Therefore, perceiving women in their gender role over and above their work role. So, therefore, men are more likely to sexualize their experience, including work experiences, and therefore more likely to make sexual remarks or engage in sexualized behavior, thus accounting for the fact that women experience more sexual harassment than men, by Barbara Gutek, 1982. So since male will look upon themselves as more dominant, mas kuan na sila than their female counterpart. It should be a counterpart that they are above. So therefore, ang lalaki are more likely to sexualize their experience, including work experience, and therefore are more likely to make sexual remarks or to engage in sexual behavior since they think that they are higher, they are above, so they can just do whatever they want with this. We call this below the belt. Comment less, accounting for the fact that women experience more sexual harassment than men. So usually guys, ang babae yun ang kasagaran makasinati og mga harassment than men because of our work environment. So kasagaran yun makasinati ang mga harassment is mga kasagaran yun anak kay is babae. Kaya ang babae pila ra gyud kusog ana gyud, ang lalaki mugamit magkusog. So let's move to the other slide. So number 3 is organizational theory. Proponent of this theory propose that one of central concept that helps to explain sexual harassment is power by Cleveland and Kurtz 1993. This theory proposed the This theory proposed the sexual harassment results from the opportunities presented by power and authority relations which derive from hierarchical structures of organization by Graber 1992. So kan. Be? So kan guys. So our organization has it was this structure. Hierarchical structure, this perspective emphasizes the structure of organizational hierarchy. So, ano ba, nag-invest sa power an in certain individual over others that can lead to the abuse. So, guys, sometimes was the boss. For example, sometimes was this a boss or who are in the higher ups. This, those who are above, they were asked for a favor in a return or something. There is no no promotion for you if dili nimo buhaton akong gusto. So that nag-request tayo ang boss to engage to this if you will not to say yes to the favor in your boss tahay. So that is organizational theory. So, they using the authority to abuse sa mga trabahante. Yan na. Organizational theory. So, wait lang. The sexual harassment is all about expression of male power over women that sustain patriarchal relations. So, okay. Let's move. So, number 4 is socio-cultural theory. So, guys, socio-cultural theories examine that wider social political context in which sexual harassment is created on occurs. According to the perspective, sexual harassment is a logical consequence of the gender inequality and sexism that already exists in the society. By Gutek 1985, Thomas and Kitzinger 1997. So, this theory asserts that women's lesser status in the larger society is reflected at the workplace, structures, and culture. Thus, male dominance continues to be the role herein. So, sexual harassment is only about manifestation of a much larger patriarchal system in which men are the dominant group, reflecting the larger society's differential distribution of power and status between the sexes. So, the perpetrators of sexual harassment have no regard for women as an equal human being. Therefore, molesting women is a part and parcel of male idea of a fun in the society. So, class, Galena theory is the most worst among the three because this theory, men or boys makes women suffer, which is lead and make them happy to be. The more they punish, the more they happy. So, the more they feel so much fun bitaw gyud. So class, nag-gets niyo ako pasabot. So is ilang manistayahon ang mga kababaihan, ilang ihian, bunalan, pakon, usabay buhat nila, hiktan, ang mga TL og mga og repon, sa mga panmabagon, laswa na binuhatan. So mga ingana bitaw na maging ingana guys, kana bitaw ginatawag na to kwan open-minded mang lahat, di ba? Naginatawag ka na ng ba na hard fact raw. Cool kid, cool kid, pero pili na cool kid, guys. Kuha na siya. Harassment na siya. Kana bitong kana bitang burag gihimo na nagduaan ang kababaihan na kinang shit. Bastos na kayo ng lami kay pangkulatahon. So, kanay worst ni siya na theory good, promise legit. Mga kuha na gid na. Mga tigang ra kayo. So, ang last, okay. Wait lang. So, ang last, so, feminist theory. Guys, hapit na yun mahuman. So, according to the feminist perspective, sexual harassment is linked to the sexist male ideology of male dominance and male superiority in the society. So, therefore, feminist theories view sexual harassment as the product of a gender system maintained by a dominant or normative form of masculinity. So, thus, harassment serves to maintain that already existing gender stratification by emphasizing sexual expectation by Gotek 1985. So, according sa ani na theory is lalaki pod ang hinungdan ani maong ang kababayan is mahangol pod sa mga gwapo tahay na kuyawo po na yung theory. So, like gwapo, bright, or talented og buutan. So, taas medyo nag-height mamay nga na bitaw mga. So, impas dyan ang mga kwadra, mga bakukang. Charot lang. So, delete tanan ha. So, delete tanan. So, okay. So, guys, now we have relevance of sexual harassment theories. Okay. Part is fun theories. Okay. So, okay. Relevance of sexual harassment theories. So, kani. An interpretation of this theoretical perspective reveals that both biologically as well as socio-culturally, men happen to have always occupied a dominant position over women in societies, okay, of which the workplace are only a part. Considerable data have been accumulated confirming that harassment is widespread. So therefore, vulnerability of women has a weaker sex has traveled towards our workplace and academy, where it's considered natural and normal for men to responding sexual towards women as colleagues, subordinates, and superiors. So, considerable data have been accumulated na confirming that the harassment is widespread in both public and private. So, guys, even in the public, even in the private, anagid na sila ng mga sectors bitaw. And it had been significant consequence for the employees' health and psychological well-being. So, this is happening na good. So, that's why we are learning that because this is happening that in the educational sector, in our workplace, so we should know this vulnerability of a woman as a weaker sexist travel. So, guys, So, this is happening. That's why we're learning. This is that we'll be able to know the prevent this from happening. Some of you from become boss later on populations. Pohon bitaw. Kumabos, pohon. Kabalo naman sa mga kwandera. So, bawatan na. Ayaw, abuse niyo inyong power. Don't abuse, guys. Kay masakitan. Kang may anak. So, guys, what if buhat na ninyo na kung mabos na mo? So, we have Philippine laws on sexual harassment. Tahay lang ha. Yan na. So, we have law para sa aning mga kuan. So, the law is Republic Act number 7877 or Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995 by RA 7877. So, is the governing law of for the workplace education or training related sexual harassment. So, nanay law ang kuan gyud sa sexual harassment. Matog ayaw gyud mo pang harass. So, kuan. Okay? Okay, let's kuan na lang. Read the lang diri. Okay, dapat duha man mi ani gyud. Bantog di na makaya ng isang utok na. So, basahon na lang ito guys. Specifically, in a work-related or employment environment, sexual harassment is committed when, number one is, the sexual favor is made as a condition in the hiring or in the employment, re-employment, or the continued employment of said individual, or in the granting said individual favorable compensation. So, terms of condition, promotion, or privilege. So, man yung ganyan guys na about sa boss. Ha? They offer na promotion, they offer koan nga na privilege, mga koan, na condition. If you said yes or musugot ka sa ilang demand or sa ilang request, na ma-promote yun ka. Or that is harassment. So, guys, wala yung may nga na yun, so koan yun. Kung ma-promote ka tungod sa imong kuan ka, kugihan, di kay ma-promote ka kay tungod kay nakipag-sex lang ka, nakipagtalik lang ka sa boss, wala na, promote na ka. Lain kay nga na bitong. So, or the refusal or to grant the sexual favor results in the limiting or segregating or classifying the employee, which is any way will discriminate, deprive, or diminish employment opportunity or otherwise adversely affect said employee. So, looy na ba may nga na bitaw? So, number 2 is the above acts will impair the employee's right or privilege under existing labor laws. Okay. So, number 3 is the above acts will result in any intimidating, hostile, or offensive environment for the employee. So guys, maning sa kuan. Di sa work related ni siya. Work related so may environment sexual harassment. Okay. So okay. On the other hand, in a education or training environment, so sa mga education na punta sa mga coach taraw, sexual harassment is committed. So number 1 is against one who is under the care or custody or supervision of the offender. So, number 2 is, again, one whose education, training, or apprenticeship or tutorship is entrusted to the offender. Number 3, when the sexual favor is made a condition to giving a passing grade, okay, passing grade, maning taraw gipang bagsak, passing grade, or granting of honors, napaday nga kanang i-honor ta ka, pero dapat nga na, boto ni mo kung gusto na ako request ato ni, napaday mga granting honors dahi. Balag ako lagi, mabagsak lang ko lagi. Ay, mabagsak, balag 75, goods na ako. So, kani, samot na ni, ang last ni scholarship. Scholarship, kani may kuyaw. Daghan gyud mabitik ani kay scholarship is importante kani. Kana bitaw maka-eskwela na ka nga na. Ang uban mo mindset, sige. Kas araw man pod ni. Tas ang scholar permanente ay di na mawala sa kuha. Ang uban mo kapit kina sila sa patalim kay gusto na uban gyud ng mga tao na porsigido gyud mo eskwela. Even kapalit na ilang kuan, yan na lambataan. Patay mabuwatan na. Or scholarship is good sa kay pod. Nagiuban gyud makuan gyud sila ni. Or pa na. Wait, anto. Or the payment of stipend or allowance. Allowance. Maning mga nag-sugar dads dira. or other benefits or privilege or consideration. So, guys, nagyuban mo yung ng mga harassment na, okay, takad allowance, pero kani, ako request, ato-ato ra, ayaw isaba sa lain. Kung gusto ka magpa-eskwela, taga kung gusto ka makatagad allowance, kung gusto ka kadawat ka mga benepisyo, just call me, pero ato-ato ra, ato-ato ra, kuya, yun. That is ko na yun sa kasagaran sa mga education related na yun sa mga sexual harassment. Okay. And number 4 is when the sexual advance result in intimidating, hostile, or offensive environment for the student or trainer or apprentice. So, okay. Let's move. Masabtan ako ninyo gamay, bala gamay lang kay nga kay kung basa. It lang. Wait lang. So, kuan na eh. So, hapit na. So, sexual harassment in the civil service. So, guys, sexual harassment in the civil service is punishable by civil service. So, commission number 01 09 0940. So, also known as administrative disciplinary rules on sexual harassment cases. So, here the sexual harassment can be committed at the following places. So, number 1 is committed. So, yan na tumaksagada makuha ng sexual harassment. So, number 1 is in the premises of the workplace or office or the school or training institution. So, sagada ni na makuha na ito masinati ni mga kapila na akong ginakuha na ginamention pero kasagaran nato ni masinati ang mga spray tawagan harassment ay mga sexual harassment or mga panligalig bitaw sa ila is from the school, sa training or sa trabuhan nimo, kasagaran na sa kuana sa mga gipangtrabuhan, yan na or sa eskwelahan. Yan na, okay. Number 2 is any place wherein the parties were found. So, as a result of work or education or training responsibilities or relation. So, guys, any place daw. In any place. Okay? In any place, kung biska nasa daw, basta, biska nasa sa kuan. In any place the parties were found. So, ang parties is, kuan maning, sa work, training, or sa office. Ay, sa work or training or sa office. Nun sa kuan, work, sa office, or sa school, or sa training. Sa training place, may ana. Okay? Number 3 is work, education, or training related social function. Okay. Number 4 is while in the official business outside the office or the school or training institution during work, school, or training related travel. Business trip no sabay. Number 5 is at official conference, fora, symposia, or training sessions. Number 6 is by telephone, cellular phone, or fax machine, or electronic. So, from telephone or cellphone, cellular phone is kuan. Basin burag morning kuan naga-blackmail ata sa about sa harassment. So, they using kuan na gid ni. Abusar na kayo kana bitang. Guys, dili lalimaras guys kay matruma ni sila. Ang uban panghantod-hantod na gud nila ni bitbit. Nice. Dayo ba na naka-survive nga na. Ang uban di gid nila makaya nga pangharas nga na. Ang uban magpakamatay kay na sa sila lang kaugalingon kanang yay nga ni day ko yaks nga na pura sila di nila makaya di nila madawat ang uban magpakamatay na lang So, they take advantage in telephone. So, nagakuan ni sila. Kani sila, bura sila nagipang blackmail na. So, that's all. Ay, napayos ko anday. Summary. So, sexual harassment constitutes an extremely important kind of violence which has been existing and rampant in the Philippines and worldwide. So, this complex concept consists of several theories are punished by the Philippines laws. So, the Philippine laws on sexual harassment punish work-related training and educational environment. Sexual harassment. So, it can happen anywhere. Kan asa, pwede na sila mahitabo. That acts of sexual harassment are also punishable by law. So, guys, mind your good word. Mind your action. Ayaw mo pang harass. Kaya mag-harass kay dili, basta dili lalim. Matruma ang maharas. Looy, kay they will, kuhaan na gina, ang uban, they will bring panghato-nato tama sa matigwang na sila. Di nila makuha nila madawat kay lagahara sila, was lima buot, kay babae lagi, nga na, was lay kusog. So, ako makuha yun na is, kasagaran yun, mga lalaki ang gaharas. So, boys, sa mga naminaw mga mo ni gani, ayaw yun yung gaharas sa mga girls. Gugmaon na to, gugmaon yun na to mga babae. Because they are soft-hearted yun. Ha? Okay, boys, kapag mo ingon mo kuan nga anak ng babae batasan pero ayaw ginyo pasakiti. Ha? Don't abuse. Okay, ma'am. So, mao na to, ma'am. Thank you. Kung naminaw magyang ubang classmate, PM lang mo, charot. Okay, thank you, ma'am.